First of all, I want to say a big sorry to everyone who's been waiting on an upload. I got sick just after I got back from the Formula E. I don't know if it's just me, it's probably everyone as well, but like whenever I go on planes, I seem to get sick. I've had a really good run lately, but yeah, this one really caught me out, so I couldn't make videos when my voice was just like nowhere. So here I am. I'm not fully 100% just yet, but I'm pretty close. I think I'm like 95%. But anyway, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing a 100% race around the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm back on Xbox now. I haven't properly raced on Xbox since I lived in Australia, so like February, January time. I've now got a wheel for the Xbox because I had to leave my old wheel rim at home, so I just literally ran out of space on my luggage and like my shipping containers. Like it was madness. I had to bring the whole setup with me to the UK. But anyway, here we are. I've now sorted out my setup. So yep, Fanatec Xbox wheel. Let's go. Fanatec, if you're watching, you wanna hook me up with a podium wheel? No? Okay, never mind. Anyway, here we are. 100% race. Still getting a feeler of this wheel and a feeler of F1 2018 again. I've been playing a lot of other racing games lately. Most notably, Assetto Corsa have been doing a lot of challenges here and there, so I've really fallen out of the groove with F1, it must be said, so hopefully this can be the start of me getting back into the rhythm of playing the F1 games again, and what better way than to just chuck myself into a race around Canada. 100% race. Race is going to be like the best part of 2 hours, and yeah, we're doing it online this time, so much like you saw with the 100% race I did around Monaco, it'll be probably just as crazy as that. You never know. You never quite know what's going to happen with online players, so we could see a lot of safety cars in this one. Safety car is on. We got damage on, all of the like, but yeah, this is my fastest lap of the qualifying session. I'm on the ultra soft tires. There's a bit of weather that's going to strike halfway through the race, I believe, so this might carry me to the weather period without needing to make a stop. We get third place initially, but as everyone kind of sets their times at the end of the session, we got bumped down a little bit. We've got some fast drivers in here. OMG, it's Joe. He's an AOR Xbox Split 1 driver, so you know, he's right up there with the top guys, if not one of the top guys on this platform, on this game. We've got other people like DRC Jared. You guys are pretty familiar with him. CRL Rosberg is also pretty good. I think he was in one of the esports qualifying races the other day. So we've got some pretty good drivers in here, mixed in with some strangers, I suppose. So it's completely up in the air as to whether they'll be good or bad or how long they'll stay in this race. But I hope that everyone can stay in this race for the majority and we can have a good one. But here we are for the race, P8, rain coming halfway through the Grand Prix. I just want to survive the start of this race, to be honest. There is going to be safety cars. There's going to be a lot of variables that are going to throw the order into chaos, I would say. So really just trying to survive this start and trying to get away cleanly will just be imperative for me. I'm not going to be anywhere near my peak pace. I'm going to ease into this Grand Prix, and then towards the end, if I'm still in the mix, that's where we're going to really push hard. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. My first proper race in what feels like a lifetime. Not a great start. It looks like we're going to lose a place to the guy on the inside, but we're just trying to keep it as clean as possible. Thankfully, everyone, I say everyone, the vast majority of the drivers here were keeping it pretty cool. Rosberg got spun out by someone. I'm not really too sure who it was, but yeah, we've lost a lot of momentum, a lot of ground there, just trying to avoid their crash, and now we're really on the back foot here. Oh, Jared spun out, I think. We got taken out, to be fair, but it's descended into a little bit of chaos here after the opening couple of corners. I thought we were going to be fine in terms of incidents, but it's really got a bit crazy. But thankfully, we still have our front wing. We still have decent track position. See, look, we're back in P8, back where we started this Grand Prix. So let's see what we can do with this one. We get a track limits warning on the first lap of a 70-lap Grand Prix. Strict corner cutting rules are on. So 3 warnings, and that's a penalty. And if anyone at all can get through this whole Grand Prix without a penalty, fair play to you. It's hard enough in a 50% race around this circuit, let alone a near-on 2-hour Grand Prix. There's going to be lots of penalties, and I have a feeling that probably penalties will decide the winner of this race. We'll have to wait and see, depending on timings of safety cars and what have you. But we haven't seen a safety car yet. That's quite rare, but I'd imagine we'd see one pretty soon. Start of the race is when people would crash out, I'd say. But anyway, you can see I let Jared go through there. He's on... is he on the softer compound? I'm not too sure, but he had much better pace than I did at the start. Like I said, I'm very, very rusty with this game, and I was just eating into it somewhat. So didn't want to get in a battle that I didn't need to get in, and I just thought I'd just tuck in behind Jared and hopefully follow him through. But you can see I'm not exactly staying with him at the moment, but by the same token, I'm not exactly pushing the car to its limits, I'd say. Anyway, lap 5, catching up to LR Bottas, who I believe has some front wing damage. He seems to be sinking a little bit in the order at this stage, but we'll see if we can get a move done on him here. Slipstream DRS. It's worth mentioning as well, I've turned off setups, so we're all running the fixed setup in an effort to make sure the field is nice and close. Equal cars, of course, as well with online, you guys know that, but yeah, I just thought I'd run with fixed setups for a change to make it a little bit more fair, I suppose. But yeah, it seems to be working at the moment. The field looks pretty close. LR Bottas is a little bit all over the place with his hypersoft tyres. Maybe he's overheating those. It remains to be seen, but it looks like his pace has somewhat stabilised now as I'm all over the place at the final chicane. I'm trying to get close to Bottas here, but it's not really working out for me. I'm on 2 warnings now. He tries to move on Jared. Doesn't quite work out there. And whoa! What was that? That Toro Rosso came out of nowhere. Let's have a replay. Watch the mirrors on the left-hand side. You'll see how far back the Toro Rosso is. And then all of a sudden just completely punts me in the middle of the corner. I don't know what he was trying there. A move was not on. I was slowed up from the cars in front somewhat, but he just went charging in. Almost as if he didn't brake for that second corner. And we've lost the best part of 7-8 seconds. And now we're going to have to claw that ground back, which is really frustrating. But we'll see what we can do. We've got a couple of people who've retired from the Grand Prix, a couple of people leaving, down to 16 runners. And the safety car makes an appearance for the first time in this Canadian Grand Prix. So that really gets me out of jail here. Rain is apparently coming in about 15 minutes or so, maybe less. But I just thought I'd take this opportunity to put on the Hypersoft tyres now that the field is going to be bunched up. I'll get off these tyres. I did have that spin. I got spun out by the Toro Rosso. The tyres never quite feel the same when things like that happen. So I thought, yeah, I'll get the Hypersoft tyres on. Maybe it'll be a quick little ploy to get some track position back, get some pace, and we'll go from there. But as soon as I caught up to the train here, it started raining already. So that kind of annoyed me that I gave up a little bit of track position. But it looks like we won't get much out of these tyres.
Watch the conditions. We think there's rain coming pretty soon. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
And Jeff pretty much confirming what we can see on the screen already. The thing is, it's not just going to be light rain. It's actually going to be heavy rain. So when this rain does hit us, it's going to hit us quite rapidly. So it might only be a very short stint on inters before we go to wets. So this race is about to be completely turned on its head.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember there is no overtaking until the first safety car line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Alright, here we go. It is go time for the restart number 1 of this race. P7, we've got Hypersoft tyres on, a very, very short window before we need to make our next stop, but the last time I was in a safety car queue with Joe, that happened, and he went on to win the race. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. I was thinking about that in this very moment, how we're all weaving. I thought maybe there might be a few idiots who crash here, but it looks like it's only the people ahead. I gave them lots of space, and away we go for the restart of the Canadian Grand Prix. That's a penalty for us, and at a time where I really didn't need to take that much curb, which is rather annoying. But away we go. Track conditions are diminishing quite rapidly here. Track is about 2 or 3 seconds slower than what it normally is. team radio.
I know these conditions are tough, but bear with it. I don't think the track is ready for intermediates yet.
Okay, so we're right on the bubble of needing to go to intermediate tyres. I thought about maybe switching during the safety car period, but it's just a little bit too early for that. The tyres would have been completely cooked by the time they're required. Anyway, up the inside of this Ferrari. That'll be P6. Hopefully, if we can out-traction him. It's a little bit harder to do it from the inside. It looks like he's actually done better than us there, and now it's going to be a drag race. Hopefully, we can get the slipstream off the Force India up ahead. No, he's giving it to the Ferrari, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult here as we run into the final chicane. Can we please get this position? Oh, I've had to take a corner cut warning there just to get through there cleanly, but there we go. We got the move done. P6. Already got one penalty up our sleeve and one warning. So we're not doing the best in terms of that department. That Force India all over the place on the run out of the second chicane. Holy crap. I don't know how we avoided that. It's P5. The next group of cars in front of us are all the league racers, so these guys will be pretty hard to overtake. Damon Rocks, I think after Damon Rocks, it's pretty slim pickings for us to move forward any further. We've got the likes of DRC Jarrett, Sierra Rosberg, and Joe all taking up those front three positions, so we'll see what we can do with this race now, but the rain is certainly going to throw a spanner into the works. I think that's Sierra Rosberg who's now stopped at the end of lap 15. He's gone for a little bit of a gamble for intermediate tyres, thinking that the crossover is going to be on this lap. And he might be right because the tyres feel absolutely horrible on this lap. Just having to be so careful with the throttle application. And now we've got this Renault who's a little bit slow, a little bit all over the place. I think he might jump us here. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. But it's just happened. I tried getting out of the throttle, but it kind of actually gave me a better exit because I didn't get wheel spin, whereas the guy in front was just wheel spinning for days, and yeah, I'm really sorry about that, but I didn't mean it. Anyway, into the pits we go. It's P3 for us. It'll be interesting to see if Sierra Rosberg comes out in front of us. I think he might because we were held up by the Renault and then we had that incident, and then the crossover to intermediate tyres happened, and now that horrible pit stop is probably the nail in the coffin that we didn't need. Renault jumps us in the pits, that's great. Maybe a little bit of karma on my part, but yeah, well, what can you do? Another penalty for us, so the race has somewhat gone downhill for us here. We're losing a lot of touch with the front-running guys, and it's just...
Rainfall to worsen soon. Heavy rain predicted in 5 minutes' time.
It's just not what I needed, to be honest. Getting caught up behind this guy now. I really wanted to have some clear air to really show what my pace was, potentially. It may not have affected my quest in trying to catch the front guys, but I still wanted to have a clear track in front of me to do so. I'm trying to overtake this guy, but spoiler alert, I find it very, very hard to overtake this guy. He was just very, very hard to overtake. He was kind of fast in the right areas, and when I tried to overtake this guy, I'd often get wheel spin out of traction zone, so it made it quite hard for me to get anything going for me. But I'm doing my absolute best here. I'm faster than him, but I just can't get past, which is the most frustrating thing, but having a good battle with him nonetheless. And a little move there into turn one, couldn't quite get the move done. Here, like, I'm trying to work him over, trying to get a better exit, then I just get wheel spin, which is really annoying. Here I have that's not even a half look, but he runs wide through turn one. I'm thinking I've maybe got a chance out of here into turn 2 and 3, and then massive amount of wheel spin, which completely sets me back for the rest of the lap. But this time around, I'm in the slipstream. Might have a little go here into the final chicane.
A new strategy is available.
But he goes and does that. What the hell was that? We were a good 100 meters, maybe more away from the braking zone, and he either lifts off from the throttle or brake checks me. I'm not too sure, but that was really weird and unnecessary. Loss of front wing. This is about the time we need to switch to the wet tyres, but the track isn't ready for wet tyres, but I've got to take this gamble anyway to minimise the amount of time we're going to lose. That's just really, really annoying. Yeah, a pit stop that we didn't need, and that Force India held us up previously, then he lags in front of us now. It's the comedy of errors this race. Have to take another warning to overtake someone I didn't need to overtake. And yeah, it's just all gone downhill from here. If we had a good pit stop the last cycle through, we didn't get jumped by that Renault, our whole race would be so different right now. But it's just, we got caught up behind people and just got caught up in other people's stupidity, which has really set us back in this Grand Prix. There's the guy who made the front wing come off for us, so just gave him a bit of a how you going out of the final chicane. But anyway, it's lap 28. There's still 40 laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix. At this stage, the people at the front, or a lot of the people at the front, have decided to stick it out on intermediate tyres, and this is where the problem really compounded for me with that, losing the front wing and then changing to wet tyres. Because here I'm making a second pit stop in about 10 laps, whereas everyone else who was on the intermediate tyres, they stuck it out. Excuse me. They stuck it out on intermediate tyres. They lost a few seconds for a couple of laps, but I've, in this very short period of time, made 2 pit stops, a front wing change, when I didn't need to, so...
The gap to the leader is 47.9 seconds.
Yeah, it's just been a massive, massive loss of time. We're 47 seconds off the lead of the Grand Prix. Yeah, this is really annoying, to be honest. We really need a safety car now. I'm just praying for one now. We've gone back to the intermediate tyres. These guys in front of us have been on the intermediate tyres this whole time. So we do have much fresher tyres in them, but we still need to overtake them nonetheless. If the track is drying up, we're going back to dry tyres in a fairly short amount of time, maybe 15-20 minutes or so. So now we're putting the pressure on, hopefully clear these guys, and then after that, who knows, maybe another safety car, then we might be back in the game and we can just forget about this nightmare first half of the race and get back on with it. Get back in the battle with maybe the likes of Joe and Jared and race those guys again, because bloody hell, it's been a long time since I've raced those guys. But anyway, big dive bomb into the hairpin, decided to go full send into P7. Next up is the Renault. And we're just waiting for the right moment. He runs wide massively through the hairpin, trying to get a nice exit. And looks like we've done so, so we'll see if we can overtake him into the final chicane. Rich, overtake mode. Getting a bit low on fuel now, so I'll need to look after that actually. But there we go, into P6. I've done a lot of battling this race and trying to either break slipstream or overtake people, so I've been using a whole lot more fuel than what I've probably intended to at this stage in the race, so we do need to back it off a little bit at some point. But I'm just waiting until maybe I get some clear air, then when I'm not under pressure from anybody, that's when I'll look after the fuel a little bit more. But into the pits we go, dry tyres, and hell's in the pits again, but hopefully that doesn't cost us any positions. I would absolutely cry if that Renault jumped me again, because we'd be starting all over again, but thankfully we're fine.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
Wow. That lasted long. I thought we were on dry tyres till the end of the race now. Fantastic.
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon.
Oh, come on!
Our gap to the car in front is 3.4 seconds. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
And back onto the dry tyres. I can assure you that I did not script this. I put the weather on dynamic for this race. There is the option to play God with the weather conditions, but I definitely did not do that. The amount of changes from dry to wet we've had has been absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully now this is the last of it, and we can have some dry running to the end of the Grand Prix. Only 5 laps left in this race. So we've been battling the conditions, we've been battling a lot of people in the midfield. We've lost a lot of runners in this race, but we haven't seen the safety car since like the first 10 laps of the Grand Prix, which has been pretty crazy. I would have thought that with all the people that have either crashed and left, we would have got a safety car again at some point, but we never got that opportunity again, and now we find ourselves in no man's land in P6. Anyway, Jared and Joe set a couple of purple laps, and now I'm trying to set a purple lap of my own here to see what my pace is like. I didn't have any fresh Hypersoft tyres left. This is a used set from earlier on in the race, where we did maybe a couple of laps before. I think this is the hyper soft tires we put on at the start of the race, or in the midway point in the race where we had the safety car period, and then I only did a few laps before switching to wets again. I think that's this set of tyres. But anyway, we're going pretty well on this lap. It was a slight corner cut, but otherwise didn't gain me too much time. Through the final chicane, I carried a lot of speed through there. I saved up all my battery and used Rich all the way around the lap, and we do a 109.7, which was, I think, 6 or 7 tenths clear of the fastest lap that Joe did. So I was really, really pleased about that, to be setting the pace amongst some really, really fast drivers who are still league racing actively, and me coming into this, I have never felt more disconnected from the F1 game in the last few years. But it's good to see that I did show a bit of pace with that fastest lap. So that gave me a lot of confidence, actually. But obviously, it took me the best part of an hour to get in the groove of the game again. But anyway, it's P5. Not the greatest race in the world for me. We had a lot of good battles, but the results in the end just wasn't quite there. And, you know, you got to expect that when you make a few unnecessary pit stops, you lose your front wing, you get spun out. Yeah, I made a few bad strategy calls myself. Maybe I didn't need to switch on to wet tyres. I should have just stuck it out on intermediate tyres. I could have saved a pit stop there, I guess. But in the end, it's not a league race. It was just a bit of fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. I hope I didn't come across as too whiny in this race. Anyway, maybe I'm a bit moody. Well, that's the man flu and stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. I'm not too sure if we'll have another real-life Grand Prix before F1 2019 comes out, to be honest. If there is another GP, I might do this again online. It's been fun, and we'll keep the 100% race format because, yeah, I had a lot of fun. We had some good battles, and it's just so much more unique than racing AI. Because whenever you race in single player, you almost know what's going to happen, to be honest. But in online multiplayer, no two races are the same, and that's what I love about online. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed nonetheless. Enjoy the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend. Hopefully Renault is a bit more on the pace, eh? Daniel Ricciardo? Let's have some good luck. Until the next video, I'll see you guys next time.